Hello, and welcome to Addicted Like Us, a podcast discussing all things written by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I'm your host, Haley, and today I have Julia, aka Reading Chemist Chronicles, with me to talk about Some Kind of Perfect, Book 10 in the Addicted series. As a quick reminder, this is part 6 of the Some Kind of Perfect discussion, so make sure you listen to the first 5 parts before jumping into this one, or you'll be super confused. A quick recap, I'm Haley, a longtime reader and lover of Krista and Becca's work. I'm also a part-time illustrator, and I had the privilege of working on the special edition covers for the Leica series. Now, I just love to spend my time talking about all my favorite books, aka anything written by Krista and Becca. So the Addicted Like Us podcast was created so I could sit down with friends and discuss all of our thoughts. So let me reintroduce you to Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I've been reading and loving Kristen Becca's books now for a little over 10 years. I first found Addicted to You on a Goodreads list and read all the books that were out at that time, and then continued reading all the books as they released. And then I kind of went from a silent reader, Fizzle Force, participant, Patreon participant, to starting my own Bookstagram. I said last year, but I think now it's almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And I love chatting about these books, so I'm happy to be here talking about my favorite fictional universe.
Yeah, so we are picking back up in 2023. So, as like a quick recap of everything that's happened so far in the book, basically, at this point, we have the families are all growing. So, the Cobalts, we have Jane, Charlie, Beckett, Elliot, Tom, and Ben. And then the Hales, we have Mafi, Luna, and Xander was born at the very end of the last episode. So he's the newest baby. And then Reich and Daisy have Sully. And one of the big things that we'll be talking about in this episode is that Reich and Daisy are considering surrogacy. They've been holding off for a long time now because obviously Rose and Connor have been having a lot of kids, and we'll just wait until Rose and Connor have their girl when they officially close out their family. But at this point they have 5 boys, and it looks like there's no end in sight at this point for the Kobolds. They'll just continue to have children forever. But so that's kind of on the back of Rose, Connor, and Reich and Daisy's minds. It's like, when could they potentially have another kid? But for right now, they're very happy just to have Sully. And they are still filming We Are Calloway, and we get the little snippets at the beginning of the years. And I think that's about as succinct as I can make a recap for this. So we think it was mentioned, but maybe not. But we're starting in 2023. It says, I married someone much braver than me, Garrison Abbeys. Willow and Garrison have at this point gotten married. They got married in May of 2022, I believe. So we are on chapter 29. It is Daisy's point of view. They are at the Meadows Cottage, March 2023. And this is essentially where I was going with that whole recap is it's a meeting with Rose, Connor, Reich, and Daisy about surrogacy, that Rose is absolutely desperate to do this for her sister. She's said that she would do this for her for years at this point. I think she promised at the end of Fuel the Fire, which took place in like 2016, I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was 2016. So it's like 7 years at this point with this promise. And Rose wants to make good on it. And Daisy reflects on why they're really considering this, because in a moment where Reich was about to lose Daisy, like at the end of Long Way Down, she had had Sully and she had hemorrhaged. And like we all were very terrified at the end of that part of at that part of the book, like, is Daisy gonna make it? We don't know. And Reich didn't know if Daisy was gonna make it. But on that beautiful chance that she would, he said save her eggs, because she had the hemorrhage. They were giving her a hysterectomy, So she'd never be able to carry a child again, but save her eggs because there's a chance that they could do surrogacy and they could have more kids. And he didn't want to waste that opportunity. He knew that was something that Daisy would want. So he made that really hard choice, even though she wasn't even conscious for it. And they have two embryos that, out of all of Daisy's eggs, two embryos, and that's all they have. So they don't want to waste this opportunity, but it's also, they only have two chances, and they don't, like, if that's it, that's it. There's like so many factors in this choice because, like, one, obviously there's just two embryos, so if neither of them take, Rose gets to carry that guilt because that's her body rejecting the embryos, and then also Reich and Daisy have lost both of their chances. So there's a lot going on. I can't imagine trying to make that decision. That would fucking terrify me.
Yeah. And it's so hard for all of them because like it's on like Reich and Daisy, like if it doesn't work, then obviously that's like devastating for them because that's the chance that they have to have more kids. But then also like for Rose, because if it doesn't work, then like she's gonna feel so much guilt, even though like there's literally nothing she can do.
Yeah.
And then for Connor, like obviously, like he wants it for Rick and Daisy, but he also like doesn't want Rose to go through like the like feelings of if it doesn't work, like he doesn't want her to go through that. So it just like all of them having to go through like, okay, if we're gonna do this, like that's a lot. It's like it's a big decision for all of them just because of all the like the emotions. So
Yeah.
for all the reasons.
It's very, very heavy burden to carry if it doesn't work out.
But Rose is like, no, like I'm doing it. Like I don't care.
Yes.
Like
And also that, like, she's like, yeah, I don't care. There's also the, oh, well, if it doesn't take, it's my body and it's my fault. And Daisy's like, no, you can't play. And well, I am. That's the way it's gonna
I
be.
will bite myself, but I'm doing it anyways.
Like, I can at least name my emotion and know that it will happen. I'm sure that's some healthy mental juggling there. But then Daisy talks about how, like, it took Rose crying, that she's been wanting this for a long time, and it took Rose breaking down into tears for Daisy to finally be like, okay, I will take this seriously. We aren't going to close the door to this. We are going to be very open about this. We are now getting ourselves on the same page for the first time in a long time. But, okay, so we've got Daisy and Rose are kind of like, they're getting there. Rose is going to be upset if this doesn't work. But let's look at Reich and Connor now. How are you guys doing about all of this? And part of it is Reich and Connor have been talking, and they're like, yeah, we're a little worried about like how you guys are going to handle this. Like, we've talked about this, but also Rose will be carrying Reich's baby, but still be with Connor, and she will still be having sex with Connor. And I love the way Daisy puts it, that sex chips away at their maturity or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't know. Reich and Connor are like, listen, we've agreed on something. Oh, it'll be really fucking weird for both of us, but we agree on it, and that is rare for us, so just accept that. The other big thing, too, within this chapter is, like, they're all kind of, like, sharing their opinions on how are we going to handle this. Like, there are so many different ways this could go, and we need to make sure that, like, we will be able to healthily handle each thing. And so they're voicing all of their opinions on, like, should we do this, should we not do this. And like there's a moment where Daisy wants to speak up about this, and we're seeing how far she's come with feeling comfortable voicing her opinions, and that the rest of the core six also knows to stop and listen to what Daisy says and like hold that with some weight. It's not just her being like flighty or whatever. She has something valuable to share with the group, and they respect that opinion and let her share that, which I thought is really sweet too.
Yeah.
But we basically get to the end of this chapter with everybody is in agreement that they are going to move forward with surrogacy. And they are all voting, I am for for this, and Reich is the last one to vote, and his 4 gets cut off because there is a tractor trailer driving down the cul-de-sac right towards the kids that are out playing in the yard. Or playing in the street, actually. They're playing in the street, and this thing is barreling right for them. So we pick back up in chapter 30 in Reich's point of view, and he is sprinting to protect the kids, because I think Sully is on the skateboard. I didn't look. I need to double check.
Yeah, she like tripped off of it, I
Yeah.
think, and was just like
Yeah, the kids
frozen.
were out practicing with, it's Maximoff, Jane, and Sully are the ones playing. And she like tripped off her skateboard and is in the middle of the street, and Maximoff's about to run. We already see the signs of how much of a protector he is. He is that like big brother protector figure for all of the entire family, that like there's this giant tractor trailer coming, 6 or 7, or like he's still a kid. He's not over 10 at this point. I'll put it that.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna go, but he's like fully ready to jump into the street and grab Sully himself. I'm like, no, no, you stay here. Reich is gonna take care of this. But we see where he gets it from. Um, and so Reich pulls Sully out of the way. This truck smashes her freaking skateboard. Like this, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're in a neighborhood. There are kids.
It's not gonna be stopping. I also love that Nutty was just like standing in front of her, like she was protecting her.
Sweet puppy.
She was not moving out of the way. She was like, this truck is not gonna hit Sully.
Well, I will not let it. I'm the protector too. So Reich pulls her out of the way, makes sure that she's safe, and he's fucking livid over this whole thing. He also checks on Maximoff that, like, you're okay too. Don't feel guilty for having left her in the street and all of that. Because that's something that Maximoff would stress about. It's not your fucking responsibility. Stop holding that weight. Reich, he's never gonna let go of that. But
It's so funny because we really see like even in just this little like it was probably actually like 30 seconds, but like couple page interaction, like you see all like Sully, Mafi, Jane, like all of their personalities already like right
yeah,
here so strong. Like Mafi wanting to run out in the road to like or try to pull her back, and Reich having to be like, no, stay there, and afterwards be like, it's not your fault. Like he even says like he's the leader of the pack.
he
Like
is.
already seeing that. Jane just like staring at the scene and like I don't know how to actually say French correctly, but like merde or whatever. Like she's swearing in French, like very Jane. And then like
Yes.
Sully was just like frozen in fear, like not moving. I feel like it's just like it was very like you're already seeing kind of their personalities and
Yeah.
stuff like at 5 and 8 or how 5 and however old they
Right.
were at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we see that little glimpse. It's also funny when Jane curses, Rose and Connor are like glancing at each other like, that's the first time we've heard a curse word out of
Yeah.
her mouth. And of course,
They're like,
of course
what?
it's going to be in French too. Like that just
Yeah.
tracks for a Cobalt child. But so after that, all of a sudden there's silence. Connor, like this guy is coming to deliver this tractor trailer is coming to deliver something, and Reich says like Connor's not coming to address, which I feel like that's a big thing. Connor is just like he will take charge in any situation. If Connor's not stepping up to take care of this, you kind of know that it's going to be something big. But Rose isn't saying anything, Daisy isn't saying anything. They're looking at the back of this truck and they know like this is a big thing that's on the back of this truck. And you can also tell how like big it is because Reich like loves Daisy and Sully over quite literally anything else. And this man almost smushed his daughter, like the only child he has in the world, after we just had a discussion about like she could be our one and only. And this man almost smushed her, and he's fucking livid. And then he sees this and he forgets to even yell at this man. Like this is
Yeah.
how impactful what is sitting on the back of his back of his truck is doing to him. Like it's doing a lot to him right now.
Mhm.
But he gets this note handed to him with his name. So, like, this isn't a mistake. This is meant to be delivered to him. And he says, I can't take Sully's Jeep. So Booger is here. We don't know her name at this point, but I know her name. It's Booger. And our sweet Sully, Sullivan Minnie Meadows, is over here like, I've got a Jeep? Sully's Jeep? Me? Which then leads to, like, how do I tell my 5-year-old about the man that she's named after? Where is he? Why is this so meaningful? You can't bring up death to this little girl because it's a big concept and we don't need to scare her at all, especially after she almost got smushed. For fuck's sake. This tractor trailer driver. But he tells her that she's named after, how does he put it? You're named after one of the greatest guys I've ever fucking known. He was a rock climber. That's his Jeep. And he reads the note, which is from Adam Sully's parents, saying that they are moving and they can't keep the Jeep. They don't have space for it. And they just can't bring themselves to sell it. So they thought Reich understands how important it is, so he should have it. So he says that he's going to be keeping this Jeep. Which I just, like, I love this. It hurts knowing that, like, why he has this, but I love that this car is staying with them, that he, like, even years later, after losing Sully, he still gets these parts of him to hold on to. I think that's really sweet.
Yeah.
So then later they're, like, combing through all of the stuff because they did not clean out this car after he died. It's like a time capsule of where Sully was right before he died. And it's like quick draws, honey bananas, chocolate covered espresso beans. There's like bits of like food that have crusted over and are possibly
like dried fruit, like
getting moldy, disgusting. And there's also Daisy passes me a few receipts. We spend the next 30 minutes just fucking remembering him. I break a smile at a few national park maps. Areas off the beaten path circled with a dull pen. He wrote my name beside the ones he wanted to bring me to. When Sully fucking called me to climb, I went. All of these places with my name. I've been there with him. I love that like, he never told him no, that Sully was over here like, let's go to this place and this place and this place, and they fucking did it. It's not,
yeah,
that's not like a moment of crap, this is where he wanted to take me and we never got to do that kind of thing. Like, I feel that regret. There is no regret there. He just, like, they fucking did it.
Mm-hmm.
They lived their life very, very much to the fullest, and
yeah,
I think that's really sweet, that little bit. And then there's another moment in here where, like, so he's reflecting, like, I feel so lucky to be alive. Like, he was on that mountain with Sully and very likely could have also died and not been there, but he gets to be with Daisy. He gets to be alive. Like, he has his daughter. He's very, very fortunate that, he also, like, they have this chance to have another baby. He doesn't want to take any of these chances, these opportunities for granted. But so he tells Daisy all of this, but there's like this bit where he's like, the sun's set because we've been going through all of this stuff. And like, in the one sense, he's talking literally, the sun has set. Like, we've been talking and they've just been out in the car. But also there's like that whole thing where Daisy, like, is a hothouse flower and like she is the sun, but sometimes the sun does set, and so she's feeling really emotional over the fact that like Sully is gone and they're like combing through all of this, and it's very like, it's hitting her in maybe not a great way, like, because she suffers from depression. So he like talks about how like the sun has set, but it's still okay. He's talking about how the sun has set and like Daisy can be sad if she wants to be sad. And he again reiterates like how lucky he is to be with her. And then and I think he just feels more settled with the choice that they are going to go with surrogacy, that they're going to take this chance and grow their family. And so then he asks her if she'll run with him. And she says, this must be that can't eat, can't sleep, reach for the stars over the fence World Series kind of stuff. It's so much more than that. It's chocolate. It's 150 miles per hour without brakes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just I love this little bit. They have been like, I know they're not sad just having Sully, but like I know what they could have, and I'm over here like, come on, let's get to this point. I know there are big things coming for you, and I want you to reach this point and have these really lovely big things happen to you.
Yeah. And kind of on and what you were talking about too. Like I think it's really nice that Reich, so because like I think Reich was kind of feeling like sad, but also more so even just grateful and like he was kind of like, okay, this is like I get to have the rest of my life. Like I could have died, Daisy could have died, and we get to have the rest of our life. We get to try surrogacy. We get to do all this. And he says, yeah, every day I grow older with you is priceless. I feel so lucky. He was kind of feeling that, but then he was also like, Daisy didn't have to feel that in that moment because she wasn't, right? She was feeling sad. And
Yeah.
it wasn't, okay, but like, this is so, we have to be so grateful and like excited for our future and like happy about what we like will have and do have because like, that's it. But like she was sad because like they were going through Sully's stuff and like that it was like a sad moment and like that's okay, right? Like he could be like feeling that, but then also like of course like be like, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to like you can be sad. And
Right.
then because he also just kind of noticed, he could tell, okay, isn't she isn't feeling the same right now. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell she's feeling down
Yeah.
and was like, that's okay. You can feel sad. And like, and then also was able to like bring her back, like, okay, want to go for a run? Like, let's, like do this. And I just think like the way that they are able to do that is really nice. And the way
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
also
They're
can
like,
just like accept, like, yeah,
yeah.
you
They're
can
like
feel like that.
little hints. They're like they're able to read each other at this point. They've been together
Yeah.
for so long and they can read these like changes in their emotions, like body language, all of that stuff, and like recognize, well, I'm feeling this. You're very valid in feeling sad too. And also, I want you to know you are very valid in feel that. But also, we can also go for a run because I know that we'll cheer you up. Let's move around. Like, I don't want you to get into, like, feel sad, but we're not going to do it in an unhealthy way. I know ways that will make, like, can help you at least feel a little better. So let's do that too.
Yeah.
So then that was March 2023. We are in the next chapter 31, and it is April now. And we are in Rose's point of view. She is at the Haleco offices, working for the day. I don't know if it says what day it is, but it's not Wednesday because she gets to go into work, and it's Connor's day to watch the kids at home. But she's very distracted because they just tried to, is it implant? I don't know the right technical terms for surrogacy, but
I think
like,
so, yeah.
we're waiting to see if the reader and Rose are waiting to see if this embryo has taken, that she is pregnant with Reich and Daisy's baby. So she's waiting for the results from the doctor. So she's a little distracted waiting for this phone call. And while she's at work, she gets a call from Connor, and she picks up and he doesn't even answer right away. It's like, and she says like, he doesn't say anything, but it's not quiet on the phone. Like I can hear children screaming. There is chaos on the other end of the line. And she's already like packing up all of her shit and getting ready to leave. And then Connor's like, if you have time, could you come help me? Which is very Connor Cobalt, but it's also very Rose Calloway to be like, I'm packed up. I'm already halfway out the door. You didn't even need to ask me. That was dumb. But also he says like, I need you, which I mean, of course Connor's come a long way, but like so rarely does that come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But so she goes home to help, comes upstairs to their playroom, and it is cobalt chaos.
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's Charlie and Beckett are shouting and arguing with Connor about something not being fair. I think Ben's crying, Jane's crying. What are Tom and Elliot doing?
Chaos.
Just just being chaos gremlins. So she's like, Rose is like, okay, I'm here. I'm ready to take like some action, but I don't even know what action I need to take. Like, none of this is making sense. And then like Connor turns and she sees that he's got like a bruise, or like something has hit him right by his eye, and like, what is happening? He's being bested by these children right now. Connor Cobalt, the god. But so we see a little bit of this argument between Beckett and Charlie, that like we get some context that, is it Charlie's in trouble? Who's in trouble? Someone shoved someone else. It's either Charlie shoved Elliot or Beckett shoved, or Elliot shoved Charlie. Who shoved who? Elliot. Okay.
Elliot pushed
Charlie,
Charlie, and then Beckett pushed him back.
Yes.
In Charlie's defense.
Yes. Okay. And so Beckett and Charlie are currently suffering the fate of, they're like about to see the consequences of their actions, but Beckett's over here like, this isn't fucking, he's a child. This isn't fair. Like, Elliot started it. He was the one that pushed Charlie. And it's like, he's not the, you guys aren't the only ones getting in trouble. I promise. I'm dealing with, there are a lot of you, okay? So we're getting that like the boys are pushing each other around and getting in trouble. And
also Charlie's correlation does not equal causation.
Yes, he says correlation does not equal causation, and Rose is over here like, I'm not totally sure. He'll say these things. I don't know if he understands them or if he's just like parroting whatever Connor and I say. But knowing Charlie, I feel like there is some sense that he knows what he's saying, but it's also very cute coming from like a little 8-year-old or whatever. Or no, he's not 8, but like
5.
Coming from a little 5-year-old that like, okay, sure. And then Rose is still like taking in the scene. She sees Jane crying by her smashed dollhouse that one of the boys probably broke her dollhouse, and oh great. Elliot comes with Rose and is hugging her. He's like, Mommy, oh my God, you're here. And someone else to play with and terrorize. It's not just Daddy anymore. She's like, he's a little menace. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one that turned out to smashed her Jane's dollhouse. So I think it was earlier that she talks about this, like, she talks about how you can get, like, this chaos is very common in their house, and like trying to reason with kids is like, she still kind of struggles with it. Like, sometimes reasoning with children is just, it's hard. Like, you can try and give them an entire box of crayons, but they're gonna cry over this broken one. And then like Elliot comes over and she's still reflecting like, yeah, this chaos, like, it is a daily occurrence in this household. That crayon anecdote, yeah, that was real. I tried to give Tom a whole box of crayons and he cried over the stupid broken one. And Elliot is like, so Elliot's climbing on Rose and like pulling at her shirt. She's got a blouse, and he's like ripping the buttons, and like her bra is starting to become visible. God, he's such a gremlin. Jane is sobbing and saying it's ruined.
Poor Jane.
Connor's over here like, you can't push your brother, not even to defend Charlie. Beckett is screaming.
Jane's just like, there's too many boys.
Yes, Jane says there's too many boys, and Connor's over here like, women make up 25% of this family. And Rose is like, that is an abysmal statistic, Richard. That's not even
but you're not helping it out.
It's a horrible defense for Jane's comment. This is how you know that they're frazzled.
Yeah.
Elliot continuing to rip the buttons. He chases after some of them, and Rose is like, do not put one of those buttons in your mouth. Because of course he would. I would not be surprised if he was like, okay, Mommy, and then just like pop that. And so she like gets Tom, and he's shouting, but Mommy, and Connor's like, this is what I've been dealing with. And she's like, well, but Mommy could lead to something very insightful, and you got to give him more time because he's a kid. He has to think through these things, Richard. And we get I did not. Have we birthed a liar? He is something, and I can clearly count better than you. No, you can't. Like, all of these. The moment will pass soon. Jane is over here like, oh my God, my mom is consorting with the enemy. They like destroyed my dollhouse. What are you doing?
It's like betrayal.
She's grown up as Rose Cobalt's daughter. Like, of course she's gonna be like, loyalty to the death. What are you doing, Mom? You taught me this. So we get, I just love listening to Connor interact with Tom and Elliot, most especially. Because they're so unlike him in many ways. One day you might count better than me, Tom, but right now you're two and creating more chaos in a minute than I ever created in my lifetime. What would you call that? No, you can't.
That whole Tom interaction with Rose and Connor is just hilarious. Like, you just Tom destroyed my dollhouse. No, I didn't. And there the moment goes. He escaped him out 3 times already. I did not.
I can
Have you
count
burst
better
a
than
liar?
you.
No, you can't. Like, no, you can't. Like, he's just like keeps going, and they're like, he's not even making sense sometimes. It's just, no, I didn't. No, you can't. No, I didn't. And Connor's just like, what am I dealing with here?
And we talked about how, like, in that last chapter, like, we're starting to see the personalities of Maximoff and Jay. Here's the rest of the kobolds and their personalities. Just, like, looking at this a little bit, I'm like, oh, Tom Cobalt, I cannot wait for your book. Coming
Yes.
so soon. I cannot wait to see you continue to be a chaos gremlin in your adult years. This is going to be great.
Yes, it is coming.
Yes. So basically we get the Tom and Elliot, or like Tom, I think, Elliot gets sent to timeout. Oh God, I always forget. I'm like, no, Tom gets sent to timeout because he's the one that destroyed the dollhouse. And Elliot gets to sit over there. Poor Ben is crying, but like Connor picks him up and is soothing him. Elliot and Tom are snickering, and Jane calls them like, you guys are toads. And Rose is like, you can't call your brothers a toad. Stop. Children, separate all of you and just like calm down for 1 second. That's what it was. Stop laughing. You don't deserve to laugh, you toad. Jane, you don't deserve to ever laugh or feel amusement again. You gremlin. Oh, and here's the part where Jane's like, there are too many boys in this house. Women make up 25% of this family. That's not even half, Richard. So, like, Rose trying to, oh my God, trying to soothe the situation. This is not something that I would usually expect from her. I expect her to like fan the flames, but she's like, boys aren't so bad. Like, Tom helped you with your kitten mural yesterday, and like, okay, fine. I guess he's not that bad, I suppose. And then Rose gets out from Connor like, what happened here with your face? That after Becca shoved Elliot threw toy blocks at him, I was a casualty of war. And Rose is smiling. And he's like, you take pleasure in my wound. A 3-year-old chinked your armor. But like, going back to that other thing too, with like that whole interaction with Tom, where like Rose is trying to defend him, you can start to see Connor being like, Rose is like, but mommy, could lead to many things. Like, you gotta let him have time, Richard. And Connor's like annoyed, but also at the same time, he's like, yes, adult conversation and like the back and forth that I needed with Rose. I need this. Please
Yeah.
give it to me. I've been dealing with tiny children right now. And like, it continues on here that like, so she's laughing that like a 3-year-old chinked his armor, but I've won the war. And she's like about to go clean up, and Connor grabs her and he's like, no. She reads that hint that like, please talk with me a little more. I need the mental stimulation of arguing with you for a second. I need you, Rose. And also, she kind of recognizes that maybe he brought her home because he knows that she is waiting on these results. And maybe she needed to get these results at home and not while she was alone at work, but like that they both need each other. We also learned that Connor got a call from his dad. So we had seen like way early on in the book that like people thought they had found Jim Elson, who is Connor's dad. They thought they had located who he really was, and they didn't, but this time it is the real Jim Elson contacting him. Someone had discovered him online, and he like wanted to cover his bases so that like hopefully nobody else will find him and profile him. And Connor is obviously just very annoyed with having to extend his resources to help his dad, who has had like zero hand in ever raising him, or like, other than contributing DNA to Connor, has done absolutely nothing. And like, why am I wasting my time on this? I don't want to deal with him. So it's he needed Rose for all of the kids. Rose needed him for this impending phone call that she's about to get. He also needed her because he's dealing with something that like is annoying him, and they just need each other in this moment. And it's like they're having this bit, and then we get a "return that, you thief" from Jane, because Elliot has stolen her stuffed lion. Do not touch that stuffed lion. That is sacred property, sir. Elliot falls on his ass, but he rolls over and acts like nothing happened. Tom is supine on the carpet, acting like he's dead. He does this. He's not dead. He's grinning. And then she's like, "They're terrible," in her head. "I love them all. I love them all too."
Yes.
And that's when she gets the phone call. Her phone rings. It's the doctor calling to let her know what's happening, which is that she is not pregnant with Reich and Daisy's baby. It did not take. And they have this moment that's a callback to the scene in Fuel the Fire where they quote King Lear that, he says, "Nothing will come of nothing. You at least tried to do more than nothing," which is a King Lear quote, but it's also like, this is not our worst so long as we can say this is not our worst. And that was something that they had said to each other during that media shitstorm in Fuel the Fire. Like, they can say, this is not our worst, this is just maybe not our best day, but look how far they've come, that they're not, like, hiding in their closet and crying. Like, this really isn't their worst. They've been through a lot, and this day sucks, but they have each other to lean on, and they'll get through it. And they have their beautiful family. And then Elliot comes over, and he's like, "Kiss, kiss, kiss." And I'm like, yeah, that's right, kid. I approve this message. And then "I can hear your heart, and what sound is my heart making?" And I'm pretty certain they'd said that in that scene in the closet, but like this time it beats in equal time with mine. This is not our worst, no. But I do really love this chapter. I love seeing seeing an inside look into the Cobalt household is just such a treat.
The early days of the Cobalt chaos. Also because in like later on, like us, later series, we don't really see like all of them at home, because they're older and off. So like this is like a look at like all the Cobalt kids together. Rose and Connor having to deal with like, well, not all of them because they're not all born yet, but like almost all of the Cobalt kids together, like the craziness that ensues with them like raising all of these chaotic children.
With all of their
you really like get to see
personalities.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fun to see. Okay, so then the next chapter, 32. It is July now, and it is Reich's point of view, and he's at Sugarloaf Bluff, Winona, Minnesota. Every time I hear it, I'm always like, yes, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So it's the Meadows family, the entire Meadows family, Reich, Sully, and Daisy, are in Minnesota. Reich had just finished filming a commercial for Fizzle, and he had been feeling like really good at the end of like climbing for this commercial, that he decided at the end of this that he wanted to free solo for the first time in 6 years. And that they were going to do this on this trip. And so he's going to free solo, but we also get to see our little 5-year-old Sully, who grew up with this climbing wall in her nursery. How far she's come, she's going to be climbing like a tiny portion of this rock wall too. And so we see Reich walking her through all of the safety measures that she needs to take, like where all the buckles on her harness, what's the next step, like checking her ropes, and like checking your partner's ropes. Let's go through the plan. He talks about how she cuts no corners, focused and determined to get it right. Like, I'm gonna keep saying it now that they're getting older. Again, with like her personality. This is so Sullivan Meadows. And I will constantly climb onto my soapbox and be like, I don't understand all of these people that ever said that she's not, like, she's always been this way. I don't know why we were acting so surprised with Sully's personality. Like, she's always been this way. This is the way Reich raised her to be, very careful. Yeah. He's not going to risk her. I like to use my bedroom, and apparently I can't because I've got no internet connection up there. It's fine. All right, I'm sorry, listeners, that there's like a scene change and now a microphone change because technical problems. Where were we? We were talking about.
You were talking about Sully and how people shouldn't be surprised on her personality because it starts, we can see it here.
Yes. And again, that like Reich is going to protect his baby and make sure that she's safe. Like he's going to be cautious with her. Of course, this is how he's going to treat his daughter. I don't know why we expect him to act any differently. So, anyway, he's like talking her through the safety measures of climbing. And then he's also thinking about like, it's been 6 long years since he's free soloed, but he feels ready to do this. And he's feeling this yearning to climb that hasn't necessarily been there. It's finally coming back to him after the trauma that he went through. Fair enough. Because he wasn't even free solo climbing during that accident. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I also love that
But,
he took so long off,
yeah.
like 6 years. That's a long time. And for someone who can be like, Rick and Daisy are often so just like fearless and wild and,
Yeah.
just do a lot of stuff, but like for something this big after a pretty traumatic event, like taking that time to be like, I'm not ready yet, and really like not just like doing it because of maybe like outside pressure or like putting off or like setting aside the feeling of like I'm not there yet, like being like, yeah, no, I'm not free solo climbing again until I really feel like I am ready. Like I like that he really like waits until a moment when he is is good to.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, no, take care of yourself, right? You can take care of yourself physically, be more careful with your life as far as like free soloing, but like also with your own mental health too. Be careful with yourself that way. He's learning to do that a lot better. So right before he starts to climb, Daisy's phone rings and it is Rose's ringtone. Beyonce, I love it. But she's kind of worried about answering the phone because it's like the last embryo didn't take. She's gone in to do the second embryo and now they're waiting on the results for that. So it could be that Rose is calling. Either way, it didn't work again, and that's it. Or it could be good news. Like Daisy's not sure if she should answer. If she answers and then he goes climbing, like he doesn't want to leave her alone while she's sad if it's bad news. Like too many things going on. So he's like, give me the phone, I'll answer it. He picks up and Rose is like, where's Daisy? Like, is she nearby? You guys are gonna want to buy a cake. And Reich is like, she eats cake for all kinds of occasions. This is not specific enough. Appreciate where you're trying to go with this, but like, did it work or not? So it worked. She's pregnant. Why is there silence? I need something. Of course Rose does. Just like acknowledge this good thing. But Daisy is crying. Reich is crying. We're very happy for this. We want Reich and Daisy to have their family that they wanted. And they're getting that. So Reich says, I'm gonna go, sweetheart. He's gonna climb in Winona, Minnesota. And an important place to just maybe remember for later. And he lifts himself off the ground, quickly reaching for the next handhold, placing my feet. I rise, I climb, and I hear the soulful call of the mountains. Hello again, old friend. Right.
I love that. Like he's back. He's doing it. And I love that. Oh my
Fine.
gosh.
Beautiful.
This chapter was like 5 pages long, and it was just like, okay.
It just hits
It's
you
just,
right in the
it's so
heart.
great. I love that. Like right climbing again at such like like that, just such a meaningful time for so many. Yeah, like he's free solo climbing again for the first time. They find out like they're gonna like expand their family. Like it worked. Like I also just love it. Like I mean, this wasn't really like it was kind of focused on like their little family and like they were like like spending time together. But also like I love the fact that first of all, I was like, I love that, like, Rose, when she called them first, and then she was like, I gotta make this quick because I have to call my arch
Yes.
nemesis. Like, yeah, he wanted the results, and she has to call Connor to, like, let him know. But I love that they didn't have to go through what would have happened if it didn't work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about, like, they went through so much trying to have Sully, and, like, they are very, unfortunately, they're very used to having those kind of hopes dashed, that I really like that this is a moment, like, this experience, yeah, the first one didn't take, but this is not an experience where they're continuing to have their hopes dashed. Like,
Hmm.
they got their good news, and it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call it, like, easy. I don't want to, like, diminish it in any way, but it feels slightly more easier and less time. It was a long time of them trying to have Sully, and it did not take as long. It was stressful, but shorter time frame, some very nice results out of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just everything. I don't know, so many like meaningful moments in that little in Winona, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And just like I'm a sucker for sister moments.
Yes.
Probably because I have a sister that I'm very close to, and like I got her when I first started reading the books. I got her to read the books, so we got to read them together. So like I think one thing that like I gotta like one thing that Chris and Becca do really well is writing the like sibling stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously the sister moments are just so good, but even like I mean there's one like coming up, but even like the brother moment, just like all the family moments are just so good. All the
So
sibling
great.
moments are so good. So like the sister stuff just though that's the things that like get to me. So like the fact that like I don't even want to know the devastation that I would have felt if like it didn't work, and like Rose like what she would have felt for
Right.
that. So I'm like, I'm glad it didn't go that way. And just like her being able to like do this for Daisy and be like, okay, like, you know, like I don't know, just like the them going through this together, and like from back in, yeah, I guess it was Fuel the Fire when Daisy first like they were out and like talking, and Rose kind of like offered
Mm-hmm.
um to then like putting it off, and Daisy being like, "No, you need to have your family first.
Mm-hmm.
You need to expand your family. I don't want this to like delay or inhibit you from like having your 8 children that you guys have talked about." To Rose being like, "No, I want to do this for you. Like please let me do this for you." To now finally like years later
We're
them
doing
being
it.
able to like they're doing it, and like I don't know, yeah, that's just I love that it has now like come to that, and they're doing it, and like Rose is helping them being able to expand their family, and we'll see that. So yeah.
Okay, so chapter 33 is now September, and we're in Lowe's POV. He's at the Hale house, and Maria is there to babysit the Hale kids. And we get to learn a little bit about like what Maria has been up to. She's that poor forgotten cousin of the Galloway clan. Not to her actual cousins, but she does not show up on page as much as the rest of them. But she has dropped out of Dalton and is getting homeschooled because she wants to take up acting, and she's so mature for her age too, the way, and she's so self-aware. She's like, I dropped out of school, like she's diminishing, like I dropped out of school, like I'm a high school dropout or whatever. Like, it's not like a huge thing. And Lowe's over here like, no, you're getting homeschooled, okay? You just, like, we're transitioning out of this because you're pursuing your passion. Don't diminish this. And also we learn that, like, Sam and Poppy are very supportive of this, which you would kind of question considering how business-minded Sam is. But you also have to remember that, like, Sam and Poppy were very artsy before Sam took over a role in Fizzle, so like there's some part of him that's probably vicariously living that dream that he had for himself through Maria instead, because he's not gonna get that. But yeah, Maria's like, I was in a couple of indie films, Uncle Lo. I'm not a big time actress or anything. He's like, what? Okay, fine. I love her. She's so cool. And we see Luna. She gets called a little Lunalian. So this is where we start to see our little Lunalian blossoming, because she's got like these cute little alien antennae. And I think Mafi Dino Alien Gwyn. God. I hope I said that right. Mafi.
She's wearing a dinosaur bathrobe and penguin slippers.
With her little antenna. I love it.
I love that logos. My kid is cute. Example A. She's in a dinosaur bathrobe and penguin slippers. Example B. She's my kid.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. But then Lily comes in with Xander, and we kind of learn. So at the end of the last episode, like I said, Lily and Lo had Xander. The big thing was that she had him on Christmas and went into labor in the elevator trying to get to this holiday party. And this is like big news for the tabloids, and also the fact that Reich was the one in the elevator with her and nobody else. So it's like, goddamn, these three-way rumors, they're like never ending. Of course Reich was there. Like, this is just annoying. But people have like the tabloids have latched on to Xander. What is he gonna look like? Who's holding him? Where do they take him? Is he happy in so-and-so's arms? And it's like all of this media attention on this poor child who's not even a year old. Oh my god. Like, he says when we go out, we can't stop the cameras from hoarding around Xander. We can't stop them from screaming his name. He cries every time we leave the house. He's not even a year old yet, and this is just terrible. The only thing we can do is hold Xander close and tell him we won't let anything or anyone hurt him. Sometimes it just doesn't feel like enough. My poor little elf. But this whole book, I equate this to, like, it is the closing chapter for the Core Six. We're seeing how far they've come from the very beginning of the series, like how much character growth they've gone through. We see all of that on these pages. We're also seeing the intro into the Lycus and Cobalt Empire series with like these little things just popping up. This is like our prequel for the kids, and I don't. Some of the things I'm really excited about, seeing the Cobalt's personalities and all of that fun stuff, and then we see these little bits like the struggles that these kids are gonna go through. I don't like this part.
Yeah.
And then so they do a roll call of like Maximoff, Luna, Xander, and Maria's like, it's great babysitting here. When I go babysit with the Cobalts, like that roll call is crazy. Beckett thinks he's born before Charlie, and they have to say their full names and everything.
It's such a Cobalt thing.
I don't understand why Beckett. That doesn't necessarily strike me as a Beckett personality to be like, no, I'm older than Charlie, but like, okay.
And I love that Lily like is like so happy that like their kids do something better. She's like,
yes.
Oh, our kids are better at roll call than the Cobalt kids.
I'm so proud of you guys. So Maria's like, I've got things covered here. Don't need to worry about babysitting. You guys go off to the pits of hell. And Lo's like, Satan's lair is right across the street. Satan's got a really nice... Where is it? Satan has great heels. That's it. And Lo's like, yeah, of course you love Rose. You have idolized Rose for as long as I've known you. This is no surprise, but knife in the heart. He's like, my ears are bleeding when she talks about how great Rose is. Luna, bless her beautiful heart. Daddy, Mr. Zebra Cake will make you feel better. And then she dumps the entire box of Little Debbie's on him. Thank you, love. It's very Luna. Luna hail of her. So... they finally leave, and the scene changes to it's Lo, Garrison, and Reich at Jonathan's place. They're in, like, I think they're in the living room, and the girls aren't there. Garrison is pacing. He's saying, I should be with her. Like, tension's already high a little bit. Why is he not with Willow? He's, like, twirling a cigarette, and he had quit smoking a month before he married Willow, so like over a year ago at this point. It's been a while, but he's like so agitated that the cigarette is out, and Reich has been snatching all these cigarettes from him. No, you're not smoking, stop it. Tosses he doesn't like just take them, he also chucks them. Like, you spent your money on this and it's going right in the fucking trash. This is your waste of money that I'm helping you with. Garrison is too anxious to care. Lo says that Willow wanted to do this. We don't know what this is, but she wanted to do this by herself. And she is in the dining room with Jonathan, and Daisy and Lily are in there with her. When did I become the one that has to alleviate fucking tension? When Connor Cobalt chooses his pregnant wife over dinner with the real devil. So, like, Rose isn't there because they're not part of this family drama, but Lily and Daisy are there, which Lo reiterates, that's the best I can do for positivity right now. Don't make me try to act like a candygram to cheer you two up. I can only take so much pain. Fun role reversal for Lo, because we've got two members of the hot temper triad here. Tensions are high at this point from whatever news Willow is delivering to Jonathan. And so Lo is kind of reflecting on, like, yeah, it kind of sucks for Garrison. As Connor has pointed out, Garrison has the unenviable position of being Jonathan Hale's only son-in-law. He treats the girls differently than he does the guys. And Garrison has this even worse position of not even being related to Jonathan. Like, Lo and Reich can get some bad things out of Jonathan, but, like, at the end of the day, they are his sons. So, like, he's not going to screw them over, but there's nothing really stopping Jonathan from screwing over Garrison. So Lo tries to, like, alleviate the tension, change the topic. I lost my virginity on that couch over there. What? Lo. And you lost your virginity on a couch? What happened? Your demented father guarded your bedroom on prom night? I was like, no, I was 14. Lo and Reich are over here like, no, my kids, that's not happening. Not at that age. No way. Way too young. Not fucking happening. That's way too fucking young. You know you're old when? 14, 15, 16, hell, 27. I'd like my children to be celibate until, forever. Although... And Reich's over here like, yeah, I'm okay with this. I support this. And then Garrison plops on the leather chair. He rubs his face with his hands, and I realized my virginity story is off his mind now. That was quick. Reich and I exchange concern, and then my brother throws a hacky sack at Garrison. Honestly, I don't know where that hacky sack came from. Okay, Reich. And so Reich tries to help Garrison. He's like, you and Willow, you're adults. You're both successful adults. You are employed. Okay? You have a really great job at Cobalt Inc. Willow has graduated. She's got a great job. She's opened the London branch of Superheroes and Scones. He should not be upset that Willow is pregnant, which is the news that she's delivering. That Garrison and Willow are having a baby. It's so sweet. He's like, Lo's thinking about Willow talking about this, that like she and Garrison want a family together. They want someone that's theirs, which is explored more in their book, but like Garrison doesn't really have his family. His family is shit. They've treated him abysmally. And Willow does now have more family with Lo and Reich and Jonathan, but she did lose like her mom and her sister in all of this. So there's just like this sense of losing family that like they won't necessarily have. They want to like gain back some sense of family with their own little family. So yeah, they're having a baby. Oh, it's crazy when you think about, like, I feel so mean when I say it, but, like, every time I get older, I always think back, like, the age that I just was, you're such a baby at that point. So, like, 25, I'm like, oh my god, 25, such a baby. Now that I'm out of my 20s. So, like, holy crap, they're such babies that, like, Reich free solo climbed Yosemite at 25. Oh I mean, even Lo's over here, like, I was so young back then, like, okay, maybe not. Lo's over here like, okay, adult things to do. Reich had solo climbed. Lo was having his first kid at 25. Garrison and Willow aren't rushing into this. This isn't some kind of, like, teen pregnancy kind of thing. Like, they are adults. They have jobs. They can do this. They can take this next step. And Lo says it. He's an adult, but there's part of me that will always see him like the little brother I never had.
I love that.
It's so good. I love that Lo has this little brother. He got a little sister, but he got a little brother out of this too. It's hard. Like, they recognize how hard this is because Garrison had his shitty brothers that, like, being around Jonathan, it's hard for him that Jonathan will berate Garrison. He may not necessarily, like, raise his fist to him the way his brothers did, but like verbal versus physical abuse, we don't need to like try and compare that and make the verbal abuse like some great alternative instead. And Garrison talks about how like he's never gonna like Jonathan, I won't ever like him, but I'd rather him see me as a man than some scared little boy bringing his 2 sons in as some kind of shitty backup. Okay, didn't need that qualifier in there, but okay. And so Lo is over here, so Garrison's like trying to say like, I don't want you guys to look at me like I'm some little kid. Like I feel like I can handle talking with Jonathan about this. And this is when Lo is like, yeah, you could handle it, but like you shouldn't. You think you can handle it. Like you think he's going to see you as a man if you go in there by yourself with no backup, but he's never going to see you as a man. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with him. And he talks about how like he thinks back, like Garrison has some sense of what Jonathan is capable of from what Willow has told him, but they also, like, Lo notes that Jonathan has definitely gotten better since Willow has entered the picture, and also, and Lo would never speak to Jonathan again if he were to ever treat Willow the way he treats Lo and Reich. So she doesn't necessarily know all of the nitty-gritty, and this is where Lo is like, my dad verbally abused me, which is the first time that he has ever spoken the words. He can agree with someone when they say your dad has verbally abused you. He'd be like, he can, like, he's had reached a point where like, yeah, I see that, I recognize that, but this is the moment where he's like, there's like taking full, I don't want to call it ownership, but like he is fully acknowledging in this moment that like, yes, my dad did verbally abuse me. And Reich is so proud of him. He's stunned because I said the actual words. And he goes, what, big brother? And then he nods at me so much in that one action. Apologies, pride for me, love. A lot of love. So beautiful.
And then he remembers the time that Reich like told him years ago. And he just told him, I know. So that's kind of like he went from just kind of, even at that point, it was hard for him to even just like probably hear that and then like acknowledge like, yeah, I know, to then now like telling Garrison, like saying that out loud, that his dad like was verbally abusive to him. I think like he was kind of like he didn't want, even though Garrison was like, I want to do this, I want to like, you know, I don't want you to be there with me because I want like Jonathan to think that I can like stand on my own. Lo, like, he didn't want him to have to go through that because he knew too that like Garrison didn't know how Jonathan could be like he didn't have like the full picture. He didn't know how he's like been to him in the past. And Willow, like you said, like, Willow doesn't have the whole story because he's changed. She's a girl. Like there's a lot that like Jonathan would not treat Willow the same as he does Lo. So like Garrison doesn't really know. And he was like, he needed to tell him why it was so important for Lo to be like, no, I need to be there with you.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, like he had to like really say that. And
give him the full picture. I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say ownership, but there's like this idea of like, if someone were to say you've been verbally abused by your dad, and you saying like, yeah, okay, there's like still this sense of like, it's not me that it's happening to. Yeah, I can agree. There's not this, there's still
a little more removed from it.
Yeah, there's still a sense of separation from it. By like actually saying it, it's like, no, there is no more separation. I know, I acknowledge, I understand. And it's big for him. Because I do remember, I think it was Addicted for Now is the scene that he's talking about, where they like are gonna go see Jonathan at the end of that. And like it was really hard for Lo in that moment, I remember, to like hear that and be like, yeah, I guess you're right that he does do this to me. This was very early on in Lo's struggles with Jonathan, to this point where he can say this, and then also he talks about how like, I've come to terms with it, I can talk about what happened, I can even admit that my love for my dad is like, can never bleed away, like I still love my dad. He's gone through the full cycle of emotions. And yeah, it's a big moment for him. But then Jonathan comes in. Garrison doesn't really have time to respond to all of this, because then Jonathan comes in and he's like, we need to talk. And Lowen and Reich are like, nope, we're gonna stay right here, don't try and kick us out. We said we'd be here to help with Garrison. We're gonna do that. Anything you say to him, you can say in front of us. And meanwhile Garrison's like, I'm done with this, I'm leaving. And Jonathan's like, you're being a coward. No, God, sir, please stop. Already throwing around fighting words. And Garrison says, I'm not trying to make this worse for my girl, so the minute you come at me, I'm done. Jonathan's like, that's fair. Since we're family, I'll give you this courtesy. Now we're family. I must have missed that abrupt step up from the shit on the bottom of your shoe. God, shit on the bottom of your shoe. This is why you have no friends. Fuck you, Reich. Dad. He cannot help himself. So, congratulations. That's what Jonathan's trying to say. He does it so poorly. We need to talk. No, you should have just come in with congratulations. We would have saved a lot of trouble. God, sir. It's fine. And then, what happened to the box of condoms I got you? Garrison threw them away. Wasteful, but maybe I would have done the same. And then Jonathan's like, you're not my favorite. Garrison's like, ditto. And Jonathan's like, if you walk out on my daughter and her baby, I will find you and bleed you for all you're worth. Which, at least we like the loyalty that Jonathan has for his daughter. I can appreciate that. Garrison's like, it's our baby. It's not only hers. And I'm not... Is something wrong with your left eardrum? Did you not hear the rest? Bleeding me, cutting off my dick. Yeah, I heard all that. Awesome. I'd feel the same way if someone broke her heart. I'm not going anywhere, and you'll just have to deal with me being your least favorite. And Jonathan's like, you're not my least favorite? Just not my favorite. You are not my least favorite, though. You three should return to your wives. They're outside gossiping, I'm sure. And Reich's over here like, fucking sexism. Why are you like this, Jonathan? But Garrison's like, well, then who's Jonathan's least favorite? And that title goes to Connor, who bested Jonathan, and even though they have supposedly come to terms, he will always hate that one only has ever really beaten him, and only one man probably ever will. And speaking of that man, so now we are in chapter 34, and it is Connor's point of view. It is November at the Abbey Loft, and it is Thanksgiving. So he and Reich are washing dishes after dinner. So cute, so domestic. They're cute little coupledom. While Rose is carrying Reich and Daisy's baby. And he's trying to coach Reich on how to handle Rose being pregnant, because like it's weird because she's pregnant with Reich's baby. Like he wants to make sure she's comfortable, that everything's fine and healthy there, obviously. And Connor's like, you can't stare at her. That will just agitate her.
Like, you do not understand the inner working of Rose's mind, and you need to listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me as I tell you, stop staring at her. She's just not going to sit down.
Yeah,
this is not helping.
He's like, the issue, Reich can't grasp this, even as I attempt to coach him. I'm the best tutor, so the failure is all on him. But, like, Reich's over here, like, just look at her and tell me she's not uncomfortable. She likes to wear her heels for as long as possible during her pregnancies. And, like, it's becoming harder and harder on her back for her to do that. You can't tell her to stop doing that. She's a very independent woman. So they're just, like, talking about how hard it is for Reich, but there's also this really sweet moment where we're all treating this baby like it's our first one. The only advantage is that I understand Reich, I understand Rose, I understand them all better than they understand each other. I also understand Daisy, who has been the shining light of Rose's pregnancy. They both nearly glow when they're together. I love it. So sweet. But anyway, so again, Connor is just like, it's hard for you, I get that, but this is fucking hard for me. That's obvious. He glowers. Yes, you could have just fucking said, me too. So you'd like me to lie to you? You're making this hard on yourself. Take a breath. Relax. Try yoga. I hear that helps for expecting mothers. Like this. Connor's just like all over it. He's busy distracting Reich, making him annoyed and focused on bantering with him, and stop focusing on Rose so that she sits down and like everything's better. See, look at me. I know how to handle this. You're welcome. And also off to the side, like the rest of the family is playing the new video game that Garrison has been working on For Connor's, for Cobalt Inc., it just released at the beginning of the year, and it's based off of Soren X. We had talked about, and he had been like so worried about, Garrison had been so worried about Connor investing all of this money in this idea, and he wasn't sure if it would totally work. And it's come out to critical acclaim, like original masterpiece. Gaming's never seen an adventure quite as fascinating as this one. So like Garrison had nothing to worry about, and apparently he did it all by himself. He like coded all of it, so like it came from his mind. Crazy. It's boys versus girls playing the video game, and it was Mafi and Jane playing, and then they like pass it off, and Lily's like hot potatoing this game controller. Oh my god, what? It's my turn to do this. And then Charlie was also, I wanted to mention the Charlie coaches Mafi. I'm no more surprised that Charlie memorized special moves than I am at Tom's disinterest. My 3-year-old looks like he's jumped on the beanbag face first and just never moved from there.
Yes. It's his like earlier in the Cobalt Chaos chapter, his like face plant, and then now his just like
He's not dead. He just does
face
this. He's
first face
grinning.
plant. We see many Tom just face
Little Tom
plant.
isms, yes.
Yeah.
But then, so Rose comes over while they're playing the game. She has this scrapbook. We saw one of the scrapbooks that she made, The Evolution of Jane Cobalt's Style, I'm pretty certain. It was also titled, this one's titled The Evolution of Tom Caraway Cobalt's Style, but she makes these scrapbooks for her children to have, for her to show her kids. And she used to be really excited because she thought Tom was like her fashion soulmate because he loved to wear black, but he's kind of started to gravitate towards more like skull and gothic things. And where is it? Yeah, gothic elements, ghosts, skull and crossbones, headstones. And Connor's like, he's very influenced by Elliot. So these are things Elliot likes, but Elliot also wears more color than Tom. But I can see why she'd still like him wearing black.
Yes.
But she's like asking Connor and Reich their opinions on this scrapbook. Like, is the title crooked? What do you think of the 3 rings? Should I pick a different binding? And like the first question, it was like Connor's like, no, that's crooked, even though Reich's like trying to placate her.
It's like it looks great. It's not crooked.
And Connor's like, yes, it's crooked. You messed up. So then when she asks the next question, it's like, right, I'm not even asking you. Connor, what do you think of this?
She's like, I want the truth. Like, I need to know.
I know who's not going to coddle me, and it's this one. But he can also sense while she's like talking with him that she feels very aroused. So he's trying to take care of her because obviously Reich's over here too. Like, is everything okay? What's going on with her? And Connor directs her to the bathroom and that he'll meet her there. Is she all right? She's better than you are. And we see like this moment of like the hormones are taking over Rose. But like this is why she's feeling so horny and she feels very vulnerable in this moment. And Connor's like, I'm going to like, it's okay for you to feel this way. I will always protect you. You are always safe with me. He has sex with her, and he's also having like this mindfuck moment of like, I want to go hard with her because that's the way that they have sex, but he's over here like, you need to be a little more careful because this is not your baby that she is pregnant with. This is Reich's baby. I was like, this is so weird. The whole thing that they were talking about before surrogacy happened, yeah, they're still trying to work through that.
Yeah. I think it is funny too that Daisy saying in that scene, like before when the 4 of them were talking, and Daisy being like, "Oh yeah, their friendship kind of just kills their maturity," is like actually so true. That like Reich and Connor's like friendship and everything with that, like Connor, there's not much that will like he's always just been so much more mature than like most people his age, and there's not much that like battles him, but like him and Reich and like stuff with that and like this, like that's you're seeing a little bit of a
Yeah,
crack in that here where he's like I don't know, that's like
not
one
my
thing he's
baby.
kind of yeah, like don't know how I feel about that. Okay.
Yeah. But I also think he has this really, like, I like this note that he's like, I'm possessive when it comes to my things. So is Rose, but I don't like sharing and she does, which is why she's carrying her sister's baby. She's happy to share her body and make sure that, like, her sister has whatever she wants. But, yeah, so it ends with them exchanging I love yous and, I don't know. I just like this chapter because I like seeing Connor get all mind fucked over this. I like seeing him off kilter a little bit. You're so stoic and steady, Connor. I like to see when you're not. I'm sorry. Alright, so the last chapter for this episode, chapter 35. It is Lily's point of view. It is December, and she's at Dalton at a PTA meeting with Daisy and Connor. And it's like, she's thinking about like how she thought certain PTA members would treat her, like the PTA president in charge. She thought she'd be like really kind of like high strung and maybe not necessarily kind to Lily, but like this mom is actually kind of nice and like jokes around about like the way her kids behave. So they like this PTA mom, Maggie, is trying to get volunteers for all of these different events that the PTA is hosting, and they need someone to organize the cookie fundraiser. And she's like looking for volunteers, and Daisy's like, don't look her in the eyes. Connor sits on my other side. He half-heartedly followed us to the back row of desks. Apparently his inner honor student withers away the longer he's in apathetic row. I can just picture him. Lily and Daisy are like booking it to these back rows, and he's like, I came with them. I guess I'm gonna follow them. Lily's over here like, I think I have peanut butter on my shirt. I hope it's peanut butter. Is this a dick doodle on the desk over here? But she gets called on by the PTA president, and she's like, you're not signed up for anything. Can you help with the cookie fundraiser? And it's this thing where she and Lo kind of like tried to make this, listen, we've got a lot of kids now, and we understand what we can and cannot handle, and maybe like overextending ourselves with PTA things we don't want to do. So she's been trying to avoid doing stuff like that, but nope, she can't get out of this one. She's being voluntold to do this. But then we get these very rude parents that are interjecting with their opinions that you shouldn't give this guy, Frank Kale, you shouldn't give that much responsibility to someone like her. And they know, like, Frank is a helicopter dad and treats his kid not great, and of course he's not going to treat Lily very kindly. Maggie, the president, does like stick up for Lily, that Lily helped with the Easter egg hunt last year and there were no issues, but that's because Rose handled the event. And then this other woman, Justine, is like, where are you even gonna bake the cookies? And she's like, at my house. Like, I don't want to eat cookies off of your counter, because Lily's a sex addict, which means that her counters are disgusting. Okay.
Like, what do they think is going on in these people's house? Like, it's their kitchen. They, you know?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Sure, whatever. You guys are very small-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lily's, like, she thinks about all of these things that people have said about her, that, like, they don't keep a clean household. Kids shouldn't hear sex or see it. Which, again, do we think we're having sex in front of their kids? What the fuck?
You're just, like, doing it all day, every day, I guess? I don't know. Like...
Yeah, and then it's she's disgusting, we should have her children kicked out of school. They've tried and failed. I have a secret weapon called Rose Calloway Cobalt and Connor Cobalt. No one can defeat the Nerd Stars.
That's just crazy. Like, people have gone to the length of trying to get their kids kicked out of school.
Crazy.
Like, for no reason that affects them.
No.
Like, what do... Like, it's wild.
Small-minded people, yes. But, so, like, these people are picking on Lily. Like, don't pick her, like, saying that she's a bad choice for this. And Daisy steps in, and she's like, I haven't signed up for anything either, so Lily and I can do this. And Connor's like, the three of us, we'll handle the cookie fundraiser. And one of the parents is like, but at which house? And Daisy butts in and says, Justine, we're doing the cookies at my sister's house, and you can go to hell. What? Daisy, the non-confrontational, not part of the hot-tempered triad. I love it. And also, like, it's Daisy says, beating everyone to speak. I love that she, again, feels like she has a voice, and she's gonna use her voice. She's gonna defend her sister, and everyone can shut the hell up and listen to what Daisy says, defending her sister.
Yes.
Take that to heart, okay? They're gonna take her, like, Lily can handle this. But it's very sweet. Sister moment. And then Lily's like, I feel like I could throw out some middle fingers in a weird champion-like dance. Let's totally do that outside. But yeah, okay, so that ends part 6 and 2023 of the Some Kind of Perfect episodes. So we will pick back up next week with part 7 in 2024. And until then, continue to stay addicted to Chris and Becca's writing like us.